Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor, knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes. This day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
If I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Oh, where is my camera? Okay, this is very cool. Very cool. No video. Hold on one second because I think I've disabled my built-in. There. Okay, there we go. I normally disable my built-in camera. Oof, because look, there's a I got to turn this light off behind me because it's just not good. It's no bueno. That's much better. But I don't have any of my good equipment. Now it's too dark. Well, you're going to have to deal. And I'm going to have to deal. I don't have any of my good equipment with me, obviously, because I'm traveling. So it's internal mic, internal camera, old MacBook. MacBook Pro, but old. I think it's 2014, you know. That's like 50 dog years. If there's such a thing as dog years, or there's people years, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. Let me pull up comments here. And Shannon says, shouldn't you be eating lunch? I'm sorry. I'm going to be very kind of slow in talking. Let me show you my face. I don't know if you can see. I might have to put on the light for a second on low. Ugh, that's so bad, isn't it? Yeah, you can't really see. I've got huge bags under my eyes because I haven't slept. I mean, it's between work and worry. You know, I already suffer from insomnia. I have for years, way before the party. The party didn't give me insomnia. But, oh my God, yeah, you can see it. They're terrible. I've got like 5 layers of concealer, and it ain't helping. I slept 2 hours last night. And I woke up like with a night terror. you know, that I got a text that said whatever. And it's been a rough week. Not saying anybody purposely did anything. It's nothing like that. It's just a fact of life that when you have something like this happen 2-3 times, it's a type of psychological terror. Not saying anyone intended that. Because I think when you're not going through it yourself, you don't realize, and now I'll be a whole lot more sympathetic. But yeah, I wake up with night terrors. And there's unnamed, not going to name, there's a certain individual who's borderline like cyberstalking me, and it's quite distressing. It's not an LNC member, nothing like that. They're using the LNC situation to ratchet up, but I've been seriously cyberstalked before in the past. In fact, I'm the early adopter of like every thing that becomes like the big almost crime. Like my identity, I was the victim of identity theft in around 1989. Nobody even had a word for it then. It was minor, but someone had taken my identity and was ordering records. Those of you of my vintage will remember this, from Columbia House Records. We're talking actual vinyl. And just kept ordering a shit ton of that. And the police wouldn't even take a report. Like, they didn't even have a word for it. So, early adopter. And I got cyberstalked in, like, seriously cyberstalked. I'll tell you the brief summary of the story. Then I got to do some work. But I'm trying to think back of when it was. I still owned Theology Web, which is a website I used to own. That's where I got my debate experience. I started Theology Web in 93. I'm trying to put a time frame on it. I think it was way before 9/11. So I'm guessing around 96 or 97. So way back there, I was cyberstalked. I don't think any state had cyberstalking laws. Nobody had a word for it, except for one attorney that was helping me out. And yeah, so early adopter that. But this was crazy. This was a guy. He's a polygamist from Montana. Very religious fundamentalist who really didn't believe that women should debate or argue with men at all. And I argued with him, and he didn't like it, and figured out that I was using a pseudonym, which I had to use because my husband insisted on it. If you all want to know that situation, I did a story time about my abusive first marriage. So there's a stranger trying to find out my real name, so I had the stress of just this weirdo, like, why do you care? And knowing that it would piss off my very, very controlling husband, and didn't know what kind of abuse I would get from that. So it was a really weird situation. He like sent me his picture and was like, so you could recognize me in a crowd, putting in my head that I needed to start looking out for him in a crowd. So I just never went anywhere. Posted like directions to my house online, to these other like fundamentalist groups, like basically, this is a yappy woman, maybe you want to go to her house and shut her up. I mean, it was bold. It was bold. At my work, he would call me at my work, and I worked at a law office. That takes balls. So at my work, I couldn't take any male callers. They all had to be screened, and there was a picture of them up at the front desk in case he came in. Like the FBI was involved. It was bad. It was but nobody had a word for it, and the police didn't know what to do with it because it wasn't really a crime. They were just like, well, then don't turn on your computer. Okay, that's nice. You know, stalking's a very weird crime. I want to do a show about how would Libertopia handle stalking, because, you know, really, what are they doing? You know, you don't want to infringe upon people. I don't know. I don't really know the answer to that. I'm not so sure stalking without threats would be a crime in Libertopia. So it's a weird situation, and I am somebody who's been through it. So what's going on now with these people, it might be two people, isn't anything like what happened in the past, but it still gets in your head because you don't know when the next abusive message is coming, or when they're going to show up in a live stream, or when they're going to try to dox you. Because this guy way back, I mean, he doxed me hard. But one thing I will say is a gift he left me without realizing it. And I'll tell you how he stopped, okay? Because he was never going to stop. The gift he gave me is that I realized if someone wants to find out information about you, they can. So why hide it? I was hiding it because of an abusive husband. Now that I don't have that, obviously, anymore. People go, oh, you have your phone number on everything. Yeah, I do. And you want to know what? I've gotten, over the years I've been in the party, maybe 2, like, it wasn't even phone calls. It was just abusive texts. So, yeah, my address, I just put it out there. Because they're going to find it anyway if they want it. And what freedom there is in just going, there you go. But I have some people in the party that start digging up information about my past, as far as like my ex. That's not right. I don't live that life anymore. He's not married to me anymore. And that is, in fact, doxing. I don't have any like dirt in my past. I just have a bad marriage in my past. And I think he deserves a clean start too. Like, yes, it was abusive, but that was almost 10 years ago. And maybe I'm being too kind, but I was married to this man for 21 years, I think. You know, obviously there was a good side, and obviously I will always, like, not romantically love him, but I'll always love him. I spent 20 years of my life with him, and I think he also deserves peace. We've been through it. We're divorced. We're both happily, I believe he's remarried. Let it go. People today, in my present, they shouldn't be bringing him up. He's got a new life. And I'm not a vengeful person. So some vengeful people go, well, you know, he abused you. He deserves to be harassed for the rest of his life. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. So, you know, I've had people come into my live chat trying to dox like that. And that ain't right. You know, anything about my present life is out there in the open. So anyway, I don't even know how I got on that, but that's kind of how it feels when you have this sword of Damocles over your head. And that's how I've felt since the first motion. And that's not anyone's fault. I'm just telling you my personal feelings. And is the sword of Damocles. And it's been rough. You know, when you're waiting for something, your waiting is worse than the actual thing, you know? So, yeah, I look like hell. Like, my God, I look like I've aged 10 years. Actually, I look my age. Because I don't think I look my age. You'll have to tell me. Normally, most people can't guess how old I am. It may be because I have the pink hair and I'm very hip to what the kids are doing nowadays. But I don't know how old I am. Hold on. How old am I? I stopped counting at 25, and that's no lie. So let me try to figure it out. I'm 54. Most people don't guess that. Normally the guess I get is anywhere from early 40s to late 40s. I try to stay youthful, but I look 54 right now. It's been rough. But I want to tell you what a wonderful husband I have. I'm sorry. I'm so tired that I lose my train of thought when you don't sleep. He knows how stressful this weekend is. And he had real estate appointments this weekend, and his income's so important because I've been unemployed. And they canceled. But by the time they canceled, and I'll take a look at comments in a moment because I don't want to get all ADHD, right? When they canceled, it was Friday. Try getting a last-minute flight. You know, we keep separate bank accounts. I know people think that's weird. There's multiple reasons for that. A lot of it is my past. I'm not mingling my money. Like, we keep separate things. Like, the house is in my name. I bought it with my money. When I sold my house in Florida, I don't do the commingling anymore. It was just, not that I ever think we're going to get divorced or anything like that. It's just, no. We're separate people. But anyway, I don't even know how we got into that, because I don't know anything about his finances. I mean, we contribute to bills together, but that's about it. So, what was I trying to say? Oh, so flights are so expensive. So he got himself like stretched very thin because he's like, no, I have to be there. Like, man, I've got such a great husband. So he's coming in tonight, and he's just staying through tomorrow, and we're going to fly back together. We don't have a sitter for the dog, so we got a room that has a floor that isn't carpet, that we're going to put down a bunch of wee pads, put in a bunch of food. So, he'll be here later. So now let me go to comments. So I just wanted to give that personal update, and then I'll give a little bit of an LNC update. But I see like Shannon's here. She was at the meet. Let me not talk about the meeting until I read the comments. Michael Seebeck's bringing me lunch. So y'all were wondering about it. Yeah, jet lag as well, because I went from Mountain Time to Eastern, you know. And yeah. Oh, Shannon, you were cyberstalked too? It's terrifying. Unless you've been through... Oh, I wanted to tell you guys, I'll keep reading in a minute, how this guy stopped. He was creating websites about me when websites were still kind of new. Like, it wouldn't bother me like now. It's like social media. Nobody watch. It's like people doing social media crap about you. It's like, I'm a public figure now. I was kind of a public figure then, but not as much as I am now. I owned a debate site. I was the owner of the site. I went on radio shows. I was an author. So, you know, in a very niche thing. And my book is still doing very well. I still get royalty checks. So yeah, I was a minor public figure now. Now I'm like a moderate public figure. And you get used to it. But he thought he had all this power over me. And I had a good friend, like a Mike Seebeck good friend, who had a website that had a huge reach, like got millions of hits a month. And he saw what this guy was doing to me. So he's like, okay. He's like me, my friend. He's like, I defend people in unequal power relationships. So, he changed his front page of his big ass website to internet predator. He said, attention, internet predator, and listed everything this guy was doing. The guy begged me to have my friend take the site down. And my friend didn't want to do it. But I was so eager just to have this guy leave me alone. I'm like, please, if he leaves me alone, just take the page down. This guy freaked out. He didn't like it when someone did it to him. Probably the first time ever, because I wasn't the first woman he stalked. He was stalking an ex-wife. It was just nutty. So yeah, I had a friend that stepped in and said, okay, you bastard. This is how we're going to stop you. It only took like 2 weeks. And I did beg my friend to take it down. He wasn't gonna. Like, he was mad. Because the guy started fucking with him, too. And yeah, that's how we stopped him. Otherwise, I don't know what would have stopped him. And I've said this before because my parents are long deceased. So I don't mind talking about it now. I would never have done it when they were alive. What I was even more worried about is my dad was a criminal. It shouldn't have been in Libertopia. He was a drug dealer. And probably minor prostitution ring, bookie. That's what my dad did. He was a minor. He had some minor involvement with the mob. I always say when my ex and I were really young, we parked John Gotti's car, you know. Not a big thing, minor figure. I know we moved to Florida because he was fleeing from criminal problems in Connecticut. But my dad was a badass. You didn't fuck with my dad. Oh, hold on, Mike. I'm coming in. Let me let Mike in. And I'll continue. Because most people don't know that about my family. I'm doing a live stream. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, shit. So I'll be done in a minute. I've just given a brief update because I need to do my work. So, yeah. So my fear was that my dad would find out about this. And if my dad found out, that dude would have been sleeping with the fishes. Like, you didn't fuck with my dad's daughter. And I didn't want that to happen. So I was like terrified my dad was going to find out and go fuck this guy up. Okay.
It's just dads being dads.
No, and my brother too. Like, my brother was no badass, but you didn't fuck with his sister. And we weren't even close. But that was just how we grew up. Because it was criminal, you know. That's just how it was. You didn't rat on people, and you didn't fuck with people like that. My dad went to jail for refusing to rat on people when I was just a kid. My mom said he was away at college. Found out later what happened. So anyway, that's how we stopped him. So let me finish the comments, Shannon. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime. Well, Death isn't here, Elastic. I'm looking for him. He keeps me centered. And thank you, Matt. I have some mean people who go, yeah, you do. You look even older. But listen, when I got my autism diagnosis, it even says in my report that I present much younger. For Utahns, I also keep separate. Listen, nobody ever plans on getting divorced. I doubt I'd ever get divorced, but you want to know what? I didn't think I'd ever get divorced from my ex either. And it's much easier when you don't mingle all your shit. I was talking about me and Wayne have completely separate bank accounts and stuff. I didn't know if Mike knew that. And Colorado doesn't have the same property laws. So, like, actually, I wish we didn't get legally married, because in Colorado, you're legally responsible for all your spouse's medical bills. So if they like take off and don't pay, they can garnish your wages. Wasn't like that in Florida. Florida was an equitable, for you law people, was an equitable distribution state. Colorado isn't community property. I forgot what it's called. It's in the middle.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
Yeah. Florida's much better. Equitable distribution. Good thing it's not community property. So, like in Colorado, they can't go after the house. I own the house. His name's not on it.
But
he had some tax debt too.
The spouse is not assumed to be power of attorney either.
No, you have to lay all that out. But I kind of wish we did. I wish we, because Colorado still has common law. I wish we did the common law thing. It's just so fucking libertarian. But I wasn't a libertarian when we got married.
Lydia and I did, because we had to wait for the marriage license.
Oh.
We just declared us in the hell of it.
I wish we did that.
I went to license anyway, so actually we're married each other twice.
Another fun fact
We're
about
committing bigamy with each other.
another fun fact about Colorado: you can marry your first cousin if you wanted to, and you can self-solemnize your own marriage in Colorado.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't do that in many states.
I've actually done a marriage for a couple people.
Yeah, for Utah says when Karen Ann says she has family, she has capital F family. Yes. But all of those relatives, I didn't talk about this for a long time for obvious reasons. They're all long deceased. So there's nobody I can embarrass or rat out, right?
Ain't no juice.
My mom's been dead for, well, I was 29, so do the math. And I think my dad died a couple years after that, so it's been a long time. Okay.
There we go.
So brief LNC. So I gave you the update. Now here's what's funny about the LNC. The LNC meeting's gone great. We get along in person. There's something about not being in person that makes it easy not to get along. But I think today's meeting makes it very difficult to say we can't work together or get things done, because we've all been working together and getting things done. When I was speaking with Erin, she said she thinks a big part of the problem that we're having is the way we've canceled some in-person meetings. There's something about getting together regularly in person that keeps things calmer. Because you've seen the meeting. It was perfectly peaceful.
Yeah.
We've been very productive. And the staff's kicking ass. We'll see what happens with but
Part of it also is email is one of the worst.
Yeah, email's awful.
It's terrible.
And also, don't go into people's personal life and see what they're saying. You might not like it. I don't read stuff I don't like. I change the channel. But Anyway, I appreciate the compliment, Shannon. I do think I do a kick-ass job as secretary. I'm sorry. I think I do. I take pride in my work. You think I
Yes.
was doing a decent job?
You did fine.
We integrated more stuff today, but it's very integrated meeting. Like I set up the OneNote and all that. That's not something that ever happened in this party before. Just so you know, the OneNote, the live voting, the live notes.
The tech is catching up.
Well, that tech's been around a while, but nobody thought to implement it.
Okay, the party is catching up to the tech.
Yeah,
Let's
well,
try
the
that.
secretary is.
Yeah.
So hopefully, no matter what, none of us is in any seat forever. I'm not talking about this weekend, that whoever my successor ends up being takes that and improves it. But now there's not all those notebooks and all those sheets of paper everywhere and people are flipping around. We change things on the fly. So yes, so thank you, Shannon. I do think, considering I'm exhausted, I'm doing a good job today. I think everyone's doing a good job in their respective roles. Okay, so let me check comments here. Yes, so thank you. Yeah, I take a lot of pride in my work as secretary. I enjoy it. It's a niche. Tim enjoys being treasurer. I'd rather chew my own foot out of a bear trap. I enjoy being secretary, and very few people enjoy that very much, but I love it. I love the last minute stuff. I love keeping track of things, whatever. So if you're not watching the meeting, you should. It's at the Libertarian Party's official YouTube channel. If you look up Libertarian Party official, there'll be 2 channels. One of them's one they lost the password to a long time ago. I think it has a yellow logo. You want the one with the blue chicken on the stick, or the chicken on the stick with the blue background. Watch it. You learn a lot. Let me tell you, how did I start to learn Robert's rules? From watching LNC meetings. Maybe not the more recent ones. Nick Sarwark, for whatever faults he may have, was the best presiding officer ever, like that I've ever observed. And Richard Brown has said that. I think if JJ watched him at conventions.
I can agree with that, going back 20 years.
Yeah, JJ observed he watched videos of Libertarian conventions, and he thought Nick was a fantastic presiding officer. JJ saw me, because he's friends with Richard Brown. You're going to laugh, Mike. JJ saw me before we ever did Cult of RONR, so he recognized me. He saw me from when I did the close the back door thing. And he thought, that chick knows what she's doing, and that was brilliant. So he already knew me, and I didn't know it. That's my parliamentarian, great friend. So yeah, if you want to learn Roberts, watch all LNC meetings. Because even now without Nick, I try to keep him on parliamentary track. I was going to say to Whitney, and I'm going to say to her privately, it wasn't worth interrupting me, and where she said on the agenda she considered the whatever minutes hard times and then the times to be soft times. That's completely opposite. When you put times down, they're technically a special order, which we've gone over, and those are hard. No matter how the chair thinks she controls the agenda or he controls the agenda, they don't. The body does. And just like Richard extended time, we can always extend time, no matter how much she might not want that, or anyone else. If there's the votes, they have it. But when something's set for a special time, it's a special order. That is way different. So she kind of had it opposite. But I wasn't looking to say that to her in public. Like, there was no reason. I'll talk to her privately. It's a long conversation. But Whitney's a good chair.
And it really didn't hurt anything. In this
No.
We were so far ahead of schedule anyway.
And Whitney's a good chair. She'll run a good meeting. I've never been a full in-person meeting, but she's the chair of the state of Texas. You can't be the chair of the state of Texas without being a good chair. It's a big state. So I think the meeting's going well. The investigatory committee report is coming up. Everyone has a ton of questions. I'm just so fucking tired. I'm about to die. Tomorrow is going to be the 10th day. I hope after today it's not. Kind of hope against hope that somebody will withdraw a certain motion because let's just leave it at that. Because if we have to go through that and I have to put on a defense, it's necessarily adversarial. And this meeting, we're not adversaries when we're in person. And already against the next mandate, that was my baby. I'm so thrilled. Go sign the petition, and we're going to add some things to that. So I'm going to eat now. I'm probably not going to get any fucking work done.
20 minutes before we're
I know. I'm not going to get any work done, but I knew I wanted to update you guys. I know. Shannon's keeping time for me. You have 20 minutes. I know. I did a little work before I started this stream. So, okay, guys, I'm going to go. I hope to see you in the stream. And let me figure out with this tiny screen how I can close the show. I can't find how to close the show. 1 second. I'm looking for my scenes. If anyone who uses eCam knows exactly what I'm doing now, scrambling for. Okay, here it is. Bye-bye.
You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business.